Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Tuesday the 29th of June. So we've been looking for wave 3 with wave 4 here, and then looking for 5 waves up. But as I've been saying over the last few days, this market's really governed by the finance sector. And then when we look at the finance sector, or rather we can just really look at CBA, we understand it's also in a fourth wave here. It's because of this long third wave trend here, these few days here really just sort of signify, in my mind, the first leg down for wave 4, as I would expect it to be a little bit complicated being across the 100 here, which is 1 is the strongest number, so certainly a sticky number. It has pulled down to its 38.2% retracement level, and it's really just sort of sitting there on that, probably the 98. So as I've just kept harping on about all this week, I just think that this is really still a little bit early to be completed at this point. I feel that it's just the first leg down, and we need to be here for a while, and this is going to affect the ASX, basically. So I was positive to start with. We had a 3-wave move here, and then we had an impulse wave up through here, so we could look at that as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here. And then we're also looking at this as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here, but it's pulled down a little bit far, so it's given its first signal of actual weakness. So now there's a real even balance between a wave 4 getting a bit more complicated over here. Now, this could play out in a variety of ways, as wave 4s can. There's 12 different types of corrections, or some say 11. That's always debatable, but it doesn't really matter. They'll all end up in wave 4s and quite complicated as well. So, yeah, look, just moving in here a little bit further into this onto the hourly chart here. We had our wave 3 here with our wave 4 here. And everything was going fine. We had wave 1 and wave 2 here. Now with wave 2, because the US markets and the European markets have been bullish, we're kind of hoping that we would follow that. We don't always follow that. So yeah, it's just sort of, you can see the size of this wave 2 now is bigger than wave 1 here. It's taken more time, so there's definitely some sort of problem here with this now. How this is going to play out, I'll just have to wrap my head around it a little bit, but yeah, it does change things a little bit at this point. So So this third wave over here that we're looking at is probably just some sort of B wave here with some sort of, I'll just use these here, an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave over here for the B wave, and then down for the C wave here. Unless this is going to be down for 1 and back for 2 and then continue lower through here, which is a possibility. But like I mentioned, with CBA, it's already pulled down to its 38.2% retracement level, so it doesn't really have to go very far from the $100 mark. It's at 38.2% retracement level here already. Yeah, sure, it could drop down to from 98 to 95 and be 50% down rather than 40% down, and that's quite possible. But yeah, I think it's just going to be bopping along here and figuring out some sort of pattern here for complicated wave 4. So I think that's really where we're at the moment, and I think we just really need to be a little bit careful. We're not making that's a high, 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 that's a high. We're not breaking new highs. We're creating sort of, well, now we could be creating new lows in a way. So yeah, look, I don't really have any answers for this except that that this blue wave 4 can get a little bit more complicated now. Of course, if we get support back on the 7,300, well, then we will look to go long. But how far will we be able to go? I'm not sure, but we'll be able to count 5 waves into that move there, if that is indeed going to be the case, which is a pretty good case for it, because, you know, with CBA here, you would think that because it's at its 38.2% retracement level, it's at its low in a way. So the next move would be, well, up, you know. Does it just continue up from that point? That's one of the problems. Or do we see something a bit more complicated here? And yeah, but point being here is that it's already at its low. So, you know, we should expect the opposite, you know. So yeah, so we could push up from here, but I don't know. We're in, because this has taken so long now, it's like, you know, definitely put a question mark about what this is now. So I just don't think we're going anywhere, but if we do go somewhere, we'll buy that new high. That's about all I can say at this particular point in time. I mean, because we've got 5 waves here, I mean, after a correction, we could, you know, be going over here, but I think this, you know, I don't think this wave 2 can be here anymore, because it's just too big compared to this one. I'll leave it there for today, just in case it pushes straight up, but I think this has at least got to come across here, and we've got to look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. But even this is really, all this has done here is really cemented the point that the 7.3 is now the retested resistance here. And yes, if it comes down here, it's going to bounce off the 50, the 72.50 here, but how far will that bounce, and will it move up here? I just don't know. So we just need to be careful at this point. I don't see a trade here for this. And also too, the other point, we're coming into Tuesday, so Wednesday and Thursday start to become the swing days within all of this as well. So yeah, look, a bit of a rock and a hard place here for this at the moment. So I'm just going to leave that, and let's just wait for a little bit more information at this point. Okay, so that really just brings us into the resource side of things, and starting with iron ore. So with iron ore here, we know that, we'll just go back over the facts, from the top here, we know we've got an A and a B and a C. We know that this is a bullish corrective pattern. We also trying to understand that, well, this move down through here looks a little bit small, so it's possible that it can just be the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave up here for a B wave, and then down for a C wave. So this could also get more complicated, excuse me. So this is a pattern that was sort of playing out with, you know, with resource stocks as well, especially the iron ore stocks. So we're just really trying to understand it a little bit better. It's possible that we could have the correction down here being completed, and we're looking at this as wave 1 here and back for wave 2 here, and then pushing up here. But from this high here down to this low, and back again to here, this is the resistance at this point. So let's go to the tick chart here. There was a couple of things that we had been yakking about. Is that enough data? 15,000 for the tick chart, 100 ticks. So yeah, look, it's possible to call this up as wave 1 or wave A here, and wave 2 here, or wave B here. So we just need to be a little bit diligent. I mean, one of the things here is that I figured that we would be going higher because this move here is in 3 waves here. But yeah, so we should be making a move up here. But at the same time, I thought, well, okay, that's cool, but from this high to this low, this is the 50-60% retracement level. We would really want to see a move above the 1,150 here as support at least. So I've been working, well, could the market just rally to this point and drop? Well, that's possible. So we've got, in a nutshell, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Because we've got 5 here, that means that after correction, we'll get another 5. So we could call that wave 1 here, or the A wave and a B wave and a C wave here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there was a bit of an overlap here for that. So any move now above here would be well, bullish to a point that it would be on the track of making a new high above here for that, because as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, that would be finished. Yes, I know that wave 4 overlaps wave 1, and if it is going to push higher through here, which I think is the case, then we'll probably look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here. So a series of things, but just to include everything that I can see at this time, then yeah. So above here we can remove the A, the B, and the C wave as a corrective move that would force it down. And just having a look sort of in here, it's sort of, well, there's a good case for being both now that I can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. There's a good case for an ABC pattern in this space here. Does this leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Possibly in an A and a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C, and continuing up here. Possibly, yeah, looks okay. But still, we need to take that top out there to confirm it. And if it is going to go up, well, then it's going to go up for a little while. It'll be up here somewhere. So going back to our daily chart here to get some sort of perspective, because this will influence these mining stocks. So yeah, I mean, normally, let's just say that this is going to be wave C here. So the length of wave A and wave C can have some sort of equality to it. So it could take us up to the 1300. So that's quite a way, isn't it? So how would that affect you know, the BHPs of the world? So we're going to have a look at US BHP. That's FMG. That's not the one we wanted. We want this one. Let's just go to the daily chart first, shall we? And just go back over this. I know we've been going over it, but because we've got 2 counts, we need to be quite mindful of things. So in the bigger scheme of things, we can look at wave 3 being here with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave moving down here. It's also possible to count this move up here in 5 waves as wave 1 here. So that would leave this here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave finished here. And then we would continue to move up further up here for that. Okay, that would be bullish at that point. And that's the case for that. So what we were looking for here last time over the days we've been speaking is really to see what this first move here is, if we can count it as an impulse wave. Because if it's an impulse wave, then we just look for wave 2 back, and then we can go long at that point. So that's really been our aim in all of this. And the fact that this has moved up so high here, it really kind of puts a bit of pressure on this being a wave 3, 4, and 5 coming down here further. So it's giving a bit more credence to the upside rather than the downside. But we're not out of the woods yet. But if we do have 5 waves here, that means that after a correction, we'll have another 5 waves. So that information is valuable, and that means that we should be looking for a setup within this space here, if that is 5 waves. So let's go to our tick chart. This is 100 ticks, and this is BHP on the New York desk, and this moves when I close the program down, so I'll just remove those lines, and I want to put that other line back, which is 72, which is important. So yeah, in a nutshell, we're counting 5 waves up here. That looks sort of okay. I'm just going to go to the 20 tick chart because we've been working there as well, just so we can see what's going on here a little bit. So this is how I've counted it so far here. Let me just, oh, it's funny that all stayed there. Must be some sort of setting that I'm missing. And I'll take that to there. So if I take that top there, we can put this wave 5 in here of wave 3. Then we're looking for wave 4 to pull back. So we don't need that. And the wave 4 really come in quite nicely on the 38.2% retracement level here for that. Look, it may be the A, the B and the C for this, and look, it may go further down, but that's the 38.2% and that's where it is there, so that's all good. Let's just put that line in there so I know that I've done it. So yeah, this is our little sort of stick illustration here. So just move it across a little bit. So we're still looking for this wave 5 to the upside. That just needs to make a high above here. So around the 74 could be quite nice. It may get to the 75. But what we've been talking about here obviously is that we're waiting for the setup. So I can bring this down to here and we can draw a line through here. We can buy that pullback. So this is our 5 waves to the upside. It counts a little bit. I've got it counted on the 100 tick chart a bit differently, but this has got a bit more detail. So yeah, we've got to get through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So maybe on the Friday we'll have this setup coming in this direction here that we can look to buy. I don't want to buy here, or I mean, if you bought here, you'd have to put the stop under here. Because you want to be out of the way of that. So if you want to soak that risk up, then that's fine, but that's where the stop just needs to be out of the way for the time being. It could come down and cover this gap here. Not that we include gaps with BHP because it's traded on about 6 exchanges, or 5 at least. So anyway, that's our setup. We've been waiting and watching and sitting on the fence, and we still need to go through all of this. Okay, so with that in mind, we can go and have a look at, well, I'll just go back to the 100 ticks here first. So this is I've got everything 1 degree higher here for this. So if I can just reshape this up a little bit here, that will be like that. This will be here. That will be there. And we're looking for the move up here somewhere, just above 74. We'll hit this supply over here. That will bring it back down as an ABC pattern. And then we can go up from that point. And that's our trade across there for that. So that's going to be the same for local BHP. Slightly different. This is also 20 ticks as well. Let me just clean this up a little bit. So we're looking for that move up there. Well, I still need my pullback here. This may go up higher. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got money in this market, but I'm just going in for the long haul, you know, owning a bit of this and that in the old inflation world. Yeah, well, this one's slightly different. So maybe I need to include one of these down here as a wave 1 and 2. I'll give that some thought, but the main takeaway here is we still need a pullback here to help us confirm things. Let's just go to the bigger picture here for a moment, just see if there's any difference in the bigger daily chart picture. We've had this nice run up through here, but we were looking for, and that's important, you know. I mean, sure, you can trade that as an intraday trader, but we're looking for trends here, so it's a little bit different. We've got this trend line coming through here, so that's going to cause a bit of resistance here. As I've mentioned before here, by the looks of it, we're looking for this ABC move back. Wherever that's going to come from. Because if we get 5 waves here, then after a correction we're going to get another 5. So that's going to put us in the bullish mode. So this wave 4 being here done and dusted, and this is wave 1 and ABC for wave 2 here. It's starting to look quite good, isn't it? And this is a bit of a classic trading levels pattern too when you think about it. The arrival here, the reaction here, the first high above the level here, then the ABC pattern here, and then we're looking to get in over here. I mean, normally we take the top out here, we can go on the second high here, but the second high here, you know, so close to the 50, which is 5, which is the second strongest number. So yeah, that there, but it's definitely this pattern here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and now we're in over here somewhere, you know. So this is where we look to get in. We're just confirming that we're going to get 5 waves here to take away any more bearish side of this, which looks like the case. So like looking good, but we don't have our setup yet. We don't have our pullback. So let's just have a look at Rio. This is the same thing with Rio. This is just my positive count for Rio as such, which I kind of like. I mean, we could count this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 and having a top in play. But I mean, everybody wants our iron ore, you know. So you know, it's China can't manipulate it. They haven't released any iron ore onto their supply for their usage. Like they've let out copper and other minerals, but not iron ore. So I just see it going up higher here. So the same thing was we were talking about here. You could go long anywhere in here because this appears to be corrective here, or that will be confirmed as a corrective pattern here once that top gets taken out here. But at the same time, what we were looking for here was to see if we get 5 waves here and then a pullback, and it looks like that. So just looking at it here, we can see that we've got 1 and 2 in here. And then we've got the 3rd wave up here, and this will be the 4th wave, a bit like US BHP. So then there'll be another push up here. And then we'll have our ABC pattern here. But once we've got our 5 waves here and our corrective pattern, then we can move into this. But like I said, you could move in here now, but you'd need to leave the stop out of the way because it's possible this could pull back, you know, 60%. It may only pull back 40%. We don't know. So that's what we're waiting for. Yeah, anyway, looking quite good, really. I mean, the other thing here too is that this is 100. And then we've got the minor levels 1, 2 and 3 here. So to get support on top of group 1 here, that's just going to set the target for 150 after that. And the good thing about this here too is that I probably wouldn't get away with this, but it does appear that this is like an accumulation process going sideways through this period here. So it's not really going to give us a nice classic trading levels pattern sitting here. We've already been through that. This accumulation process of all of this work being done under the level here, that will just send that straight up through there. So yeah, I'd rather be long than short, put it that way. Just looking at the stochastics here. I don't know if that's the way to do that. That put a buy signal in here early before, one in here. So it's you know, it's working them well. Okay, so we'll just have a look at FMG. It's a slightly different beast. I could never count 5 waves up here, as I keep saying to folks, but at the same time, this is in 3 waves here. So this is bullish corrective. Because I could count 3 waves here, I've labeled it wave B, but taking this top out here would probably dilute that and we could be on our way to the upside. But this would also be giving 5 waves to the upside as well. It would be the same pattern as BHP and Rio, but I can see that it's quite small and not, it hasn't really, it's extended out, it's done all the right things. It's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So once we get this top in play here as wave 5 here, then we can also drop this down to the next level here as well for that entry point. Okay, so it's setting up nicely. Yeah, and then we'll also look to add above here as well for that. So yeah, doesn't really matter. It's all good. So what else have we got? I need to have a look at copper. So no change here. Over the last few days, the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here on the daily chart. And we've been looking down as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and then looking for it to roll over. And over the last 3 days, it has shown some weakness. That weakness could just be corrective and the market could push up from that point. But, in terms of its rallying the length of wave 3 here to 40%, the 38.2% is about right. So we should see that roll over from that point because this trend here is not finished. If the 9,500 becomes the support, well then I would be wrong at that point, and then we would need to start looking for a setup on the long side, not only for copper but also for the Australian dollar. So looking at the Aussie dollar here, it's also in its wave 4 rally here, and we're expecting that to roll over, and we can look at buying opportunities further down here for this. This is a 4-hour chart, so it has spent some time here for this. That's the 38.2%. It may push higher, I don't know. We're just waiting to see if it rolls down from this point. The US dollar index is doing the US dollars doing the reverse to that, so we can look at it here. This is a daily chart, and we're looking at wave B up here, going down to wave C here with 5 waves. So in orange here, minor degree 1 and 2 in here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave. Looks like an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here for wave 4. So that will be the same as copper in reverse and the Australian dollar and so on. We can go into the hourly chart and have a look in here. I don't think I've got it labeled. Maybe even the 15-minute chart would be better. Well, first of all, we can see this strong move here. So this will be some sort of 3rd wave in here. So this will be a 4th wave, and we're still looking for those 5th waves to move up. But just checking out the rest of the structure here for a moment. We can put wave B here, and this is an impulse wave here for this. So let's just label, oops, daisy. Didn't want to change that color. That's our blue one. That's good. And now we want to put this here. Get rid of that. Where's all the tools? Wave 1, we want to turn that green. That's that. So we can move. We'll clone that, but we'll put that there. So that's 1 and 2. Now, does that 2 go over to here? I need to figure that out because there doesn't look like 5 waves up here. It looks like an A and a B and a C, but to have that as wave 2 there, it doesn't really look very good. I'll need to do some work on that. This is most of the 3rd wave here. I'd probably need to do some work on that as well. So there's probably even more to this than meets the eye, but let's just clone this for a moment, put that here. We're going to need them anyway. For the meantime, we'll just look at this as wave 4 here. But like I say, I need to do some work on that. If anybody's done work on it, please send me a chart. Oops, that's the wrong one. Still need one more. Anyway, that's our first little effort of breaking that down. We'll probably have to go to the 15-minute chart and a few other things, but still, there's still further to go up here for the US dollar index, and that will put us at wave C over here, and of course wave 4. So we need to understand this a bit more. This may be 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and we'll need to put this over here as wave 3 and 4 over here. That could just be as valid. We need to do work on that. It's 93, we're at 92 here. So yeah, anyway, that's sort of where we are. We can still see we need to move up here further. So this moves up, copper moves down, Australian dollar moves down, euro does the same, yada, yada, yada. All good. So that's that. And gold, I won't spend a lot of time on gold. I'll do the video on that. But I mean, there's a case here for wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C here, but the C wave's pretty crap, so it's probably not the case. And we still need to move lower on this for this as well, and silver would be the same. As I've mentioned over the last few days, the only way we're going to be going long is if we get a classic trading levels pattern sitting on 18 here. If it does drop down here, then we'll look at a setup for the long side at that point. But we'll see what number that we're working with, and we'll also need an impulse wave and so on and so on. You know, there's bigger risks in all of this here as well. I mean, we've got wave 2 here with possible drop here. There's also, as we mentioned before, there's also this possibility as well. These are the 2 possibilities really on the downside, further downside. If we just have one more low here and go straight up, well, then that's cool. We'll be long at 18. But otherwise, we're going to come down for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. That could come, you know, level down here. Probably need to level that off a little bit with an A, B, C, D, and E here for that, for wave 4. Or we're going to come down deeper in here to have some sort of equality between wave A and wave C here for wave 4. So let's just see what we get with this. We know that it's corrective. We know that it's bullish corrective. We know at some point we're going to be up at 2223. It's just how's this going to play out at this stage. Let's just have a quick look at Newcrest. Where is it? Here, down even a bit further. Yeah, so it's probably likely we're going to have another move and bounce off this, off the 25 here for this. The demand for gold, as I mentioned before, I was listening to some expert chasing the fundamentals in China and India. There's a lot of pent-up demand, partly from COVID and so on and so on. So that should play out in the second half of the year, and we'll see gold push higher up at that point. So what else do we need to look at here? Let me just look at a few things. I think we're pretty much sort of done. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that today. So yeah, look, just to recap this Australian market here, you know, I really think that, as I've said yesterday, that I think where this market is attached to to the finance sector. And looking at the finance sector, looking at CBA, which is about 9% of the actual ASX index, so it's okay to look at it like this. I just feel this hasn't spent enough time as a wave 4 after such a big wave 3 here. So I think this is going to get messy. I think this is going to get messy here. I just don't know how it's going to play out, and we'll need to be careful about this. Yeah, so I think it's a place to trade less if that's what you're normally trading at, and perhaps have a look at some of the other indices that are moving quite nicely, or even some of the US tech stocks and so on. The S&P is not really worth getting into unless you've got the 4,300 as support. So there's going to be, if you wanted to get into that, we need to get this number here all set up. So we're still looking for the first high above the level and a corrective move. We just don't have the support here yet for this. So you don't really want to be entering in there just yet if we're going to be pulling back, So that's not quite ready yet. And the Nasdaq's not ready. So yeah, be very careful on the indices at this particular point in time. The stocks will push up. Stocks like Tesla will continue to climb. So I think that's where the money is. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.